Now, how about you tell me about a product that's been badly designed or just hasn't been doing well due to poor product decisions that they've made?
Cool. Can I have a couple minutes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, ready. Cool. So the product I think is not doing so well, probably due to some bad design or product choices, is called Quibi.
Note that this video was filmed 2 months into the launch of Quibi. At this time, the media was buzzing about how Quibi was the next big thing, and it seemed like every heavy hitter in Hollywood was associated with the company, including Steven Spielberg, Kevin Hart, Jennifer Lopez, Tom Cruise, Reese Witherspoon, Mark Wahlberg, Trevor Noah, Steph Curry, and more. Pay attention to the overview Anna provides on how the tech industry has been trying to disrupt traditional media.
So just a little bit of backstory in that space. So tech has basically been trying to disrupt traditional media for so long and still hasn't been able to get it quite right. You've seen products like Vessel, YouTube Premium that have not been able to do well. Let's take YouTube Premium, for example, right? It has unlimited resources from Google, and yet they still are struggling to get users to pay for their content. Half the time you open up the YouTube app, you're trying to get sold to like 3 months of a free trial for YouTube Premium, which launched years ago as YouTube Red, right? And so one thing, I hate to say it, but it's like, if Google hasn't figured it out with unlimited resources, you need to try to dig into like why and how you can differentiate, right? So
Anna does a great job setting the context on the competitive forces in this notoriously difficult market. She makes her case that even companies with seemingly infinite resources like Google, which has access to billions of users at the top of funnel, have struggled in the subscription content business. When answering any sort of open-ended question, whether it be the tell me about a poorly designed product or tell me about your favorite product, it's first helpful to give a high-level overview of the space to set the scene. Anna accurately captures the tension around Quibi at the time the video was filmed. Quibi was just 2 months old, and commentators were torn over, with some people in the press saying it was the next big thing, and others saying even though they had all the big names associated with it, that it wouldn't meet up to the expectations that people had.
then comes in Quibi. So Quibi, you probably have heard of it. It made a huge splash recently. It's a $1.8 billion company. And currently they're offering a 90-day free trial. Now this is key. Despite offering a 90-day free trial, they've already lost 2/3 of their users, which is insane. So it charges $5 a month, which I believe is about $1 less than what Hulu charges. And Hulu offers much longer, better known, like better brand content, right? So that's already a little bit risky. If you're going to do that, you have to be very differentiated.
Pay attention to what Anna does next. She organizes her problems with Quibi into 4 major themes and builds on each of them. With strategy questions like this, passion is important, but your answer should still feel structured and organized rather than just like a rant.
So I have 4 reasons for why I think that Quibi is not doing so well. So the first one is it's already a very saturated marketplace. Now this is should not be news to anyone, right? There's Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO, Apple TV, like YouTube, like all this stuff. It's really hard to compete with these platforms, especially when they have tentpole programming like Game of Thrones or House of Cards and like very strong brand IP like Marvel or Disney. So one, it's already like a very tough barrier to entry. Second reason is I think there's a lack of due diligence at the beginning of honestly what you usually do for a normal product case question, which is what are the personas? Who are we trying to target? What are their pain points? What are their likes? And doing some user research on that. So I believe that Quibi's targeting the wrong demographic, or rather trying to target two separate demographics at the same time. So they try to copy the short form of social media. So like Vine, Snapchat, TikTok, right? They're like, oh, these people are starting to move towards like short form. Like they have really short attention spans, right? They're too busy in their day. But then they're trying to marry that with high production quality, like A-list celebrity Hollywood actors from like traditional media, which Gen Z don't care about. That first category is Gen Z. This is like millennials and older. So like millennials and older, if you've noticed a trend, they've started replacing movie theaters with higher production, long form streaming services like HBO, Netflix, things like that. And episodes are actually getting longer for a lot of these trending things, right? Like oftentimes some of these episodes are hour and a half. They're basically mini movies. So they're very different. Millennials really want curated, high production quality, scripted, very thoughtful content. Gen Zers tend to really want raw, real, relatable content, which is why they really like connecting with they want to be connecting with their creators through like live streams. They want real people who haven't sold out, like Billie Eilish, things like that. The third reason I think that it's not doing well is that they have one main differentiator that they keep touting as their huge technology, but it's just not that different. Or honestly, it is different, but it's not something that I think is compelling enough, given that it's already such an uphill battle in a saturated market. And that's their turnstile technology. So this is what basically is like, if you're viewing something on your phone vertically and then you move it horizontally, it'll seamlessly cut to a different version of the same thing. So as opposed to watching it on like a wide screen and there's like edges on the side, it's just they've shot it two different ways. I've experienced this. I downloaded Quibi to check it out. To be honest, it's not that compelling to me. It's not something that I would say is an acquisition play. I wouldn't download something for that. It's not a retention play. I'm not going to stay on it for that either. Most of the time when I'm watching something on phone, I'm going to put it in like landscape mode. So I don't really see this being something that would really be a huge differentiator that people are compelled enough to use. I think the only type of person who would kind of care about like watching it in both different versions is maybe a cinephile, but I would argue that the average cinephile isn't watching content on their phone. They want to like be serious about it and have like a huge TV or a huge projector or something. My last assumption for why they're not doing very well is like you have these heads of these companies coming from traditional media companies, and it's a certain way of thinking, right? They're used to very structured, high production quality, like people will pay for quality is like the biggest assumption, right? And they're trying to kind of break into this new space of new media where, you know, these Gen Z folks, their values are different again, right? Like they don't really care about that high production quality. If anything, it makes it seem less genuine to them. So I think it kind of has this vibe of, oh, people like TikTok, which is short form, and people also like Liam Hemsworth, so let's just put them together, right? But the issue is you can't just throw money at the problem, throw money at like Hollywood actors and expect it to work. You need to do a lot more user research to really understand what demographic you're going for. So for those reasons, those 4 reasons, my conclusion is Quibi hasn't gotten it right. To be honest, neither has YouTube Premium. It's a very saturated market. I would say in order to really succeed in this market, you have to go really niche, really do research on what specific demographic you want to target. Don't go broad, like cross-genre, cross-generational. Pick an audience, do it really well. Don't try to start off doing everything. After you've done that really well, you can then kind of go broad and try to get different types of demographics as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So when asked, tell me about a poorly designed product or a bad product in general, you have to be really knowledgeable and also really passionate about this. And Anna did both of those really well. She started out by telling the story of how Quibi has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on operating and marketing expenses, offered a free 90-day trial for most users, but still in the first 60 days, they've lost 2/3 of their users. She then dives deeper into how these media execs who are running the company think that short-form content is working. They think that they can use the studio quality storytelling and the professional equipment and actors and actresses and merge it with short form and it'll be the next big thing. But in reality, these are 2 different segments. These companies just haven't done their due diligence and their user research on these segments. Gen Z cares about short videos because they want to feel more attached. They want to share these intimate moments with the people that they follow. And that's why artists like Billie Eilish have done so well. On the flip side, millennials want to see more curated, high-quality, production-level content with good storytelling. And that's why streaming platforms like HBO, Netflix, Hulu, etc. do so well with millennials. Now, tying this back together, she then says, there's additional features that Quibi has made that just don't make sense. She talks about the turnstile way of consuming this content. Quibi videos are shot in 2 ways, so you can get a landscape and portrait view, but who's the actual target audience for this? You might say cinephiles, but at that point, if you're at home, you're probably just watching an OLED TV or a projector that's higher quality. And if you're out and about and you're in the public, maybe if you're at an airport, doing this at an airport is how you're going to get your TSA pre-check revoked. So there's no way that this makes sense and this product market fit with this feature. And so by going on as me, she's able to convince me, someone who has heard about Quibi but never actually downloaded it, to never go out of my way to download this app for all of the reasons. If they can't retain their users, if they're not able to have product market fit, if they haven't done due diligence, if they don't understand any of this, I feel compelled in no way to actually go out there and download and try this product.
You might be wondering where all the voiceover commentary, analysis, and feedback in this interview lesson came from. Well, this is one of over 70 such lessons we conducted, and in each, we had a rotating panel of 4 calibrated PM interviewers from top companies to analyze, dissect, and critique the interviewer's answer. And then we inserted these insights at key moments during the interview. In Product Alliance's Hacking the PM interview course, you'll get access to all 70+ interview lessons, complete with whiteboard graphics and expert commentary where you saw here. You'll also get step-by-step tutorials to teach you exactly how to ace each of the 17 types of PM interview questions. Unlike our competitors, we do not offer interview courses for every job under the sun, from software engineering to management consulting. We do one thing and one thing only, creating the best and the highest quality, most up-to-date PM interview resources on the planet. Remember that this video is just the tip of the iceberg. Check out the full Hacking the PM interview course to get every single resource you need to land your dream product job.